Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, and a very happy Valentine to every one of you. To old members of the FinanceCoachBk community, we welcome you. And to the new members, those joining us for the first time, we also welcome you. Please put where you're joining us from. I know some of you will be joining us on YouTube. Some people will be joining us on Facebook. Please put in the comment section the location you're joining us from. This is the February 2026 special Valentine edition of the FinanceCoachBk Money Talk. And it's going to be a very interesting conversation today because we will be talking to a very, very popular podcast host, and she's going to share her experience with us. Are you alarmed? You don't know how popular you are. I like that expression. While the theme of today is talking, about how women can have strong homes and strong careers and grow wealth, we're not talking to just women. Now, we're not talking to just women who are married. We're talking to aspiring women who are aspiring to have their homes. We're talking to young ladies around the call. We're talking to young men who would have a partner at some point. We're talking to men who are already in their relationships, and we're talking to everyone who has a family or who plans to have a family. Before I go on, there's so many reasons why Ibinabo is a very special guest today. She may not remember, but having her with us today is one proof of the power in networking, the power in belonging to professional associations. Because my first encounter with her, she was a guest speaker at the Society of Women Accountants of Nigeria, a session she came to speak to very senior chartered accountants. And I loved her delivery, and I loved the message of the day, the knowledge she shared with us. And so I went privately to her and I said, I'd like to meet you. And because I also run the Rehoboth Dream Solid Foundation on the side, and we produce a quarterly magazine, I learned that she's a poet. I'm going to give her a bio shortly. And I said, I know you're very busy, but can you please write a poem for the magazine? And she obliged. And we have been very good friends since then. 3 years now, 4 years. It's been a while. And so that's the power in belonging to your professional association, staying connected to your colleagues and using every opportunity that you have to add someone valuable to your network. That's one story. I have many more stories to tell. Don't worry, Bina, but there's no surprise for you. She's used to interviewing people. Today, she's on the other side. Well, I'll just read her bio I can see on air, so I'm sure that our friends on YouTube and our friends on Facebook are already part of the conversation. Please put in the chat box where you're joining us from and put something nice. You can say Happy Valentine, Ibinabo. You can say Happy Valentine, Coach BK. You can also call me Bimbo, it's fine. Now, I want to read Ibinabo's bio. Ibinabo, and before I read your bio, Ibinabo, I just want to, on behalf of all the people that learned something from your podcast and your annual seminars, I want to say thank you. There was a session you had, and I think it had to do with mental health. I gained a lot. You had one session where you were talking about people in diaspora, and you brought, I think, 2 or 3 people who are jacquard. Permit me to use the word jacquard. And I learned a lot from that very conversation as well, because I have loads of people that I mentor. And every one of your conversations on your podcast, there's a lesson for people to take back. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for doing what you do. Yeah. Thank you. So Ibinabo Enebi, she's an English for speakers of other languages teacher and a podcast host. She earned her bachelor's degree in English studies from the University of Port Harcourt, Nigeria. Subsequently, she obtained a master's degree in journalism and a Cambridge CELTA certification, both from the University of Limerick. Is that how it's pronounced?
Limerick.
Limerick, you see? She also holds a postgraduate diploma in adult and further education from Mary Immaculate College, Limerick. As the host of the podcast, Ibi Speaks, she shares powerful stories and engages in thought-provoking conversations about personal growth. Through her work, she fosters a supportive environment that encourages reflection and empowerment, particularly for individuals navigating life's challenges. Ibn Abo family believes that our stories and expertise serve as streetlights and survival kits for those coming behind us. In addition to her podcast, Ibn Abo is a convener of Refresh to Relaunch. And this is an annual online seminar designed to help individuals build confidence, clarify their goals, and successfully transition into new personal or professional chapters as they approach a new year. And I remember the one you did where you had the retirement retirement planning queen. I enjoyed that as well. You know, there was so much value to take from that. I think it was 2 years ago, that particular year.
It was 3
By blending her education, 2 years, right?
3.
3 years ago, okay. By blending her educational background with her lived experiences, she fosters learning, resilience, and community through both initiatives. Of course, she enjoys poetry. She's married with 4 children. Thank you for joining us, Ibn Abo. Thank you so much. You know, there's so much, but we will try and make the most we can of the 1 hour. And ladies and gentlemen, we have people joining us from, you know, all from Canada, and maybe some people will join us from America, but I do know that it's not only Nigeria that we have around the call. Our conversation today would be about, you know, building strong homes, strong careers, and then how we can grow wealth from that. You know, it's very easy to say the conversation is about homes and all of that. How do you tie this back to what this community is all about? Because this community, we come together to teach ourselves, to train ourselves on achieving financial freedom and growing wealth. And then just simply looking at it, if you have a peaceful home, Ibn Abo, you don't have stress. You have reduced stress and you can take better money decisions, right? And then also if you have a strong home, then between your partner and yourself and your children, there's better alignment on financial goals, right? You can talk money better. And if you have a strong home, then teaching the children or the seed of that home, money and wealth principles, you can better achieve that because the home is settled. So while the conversation is going to start and, you know, or we're going to talk about a settled home and, you know, strong careers today, I want my audience to understand that this is very important if you must grow wealth. It's very important. You cannot grow wealth if you don't have the peace that you need to have at home. If you have a successful career, it's already an opportunity to earn more. Because one of the things we say to ourselves in the community is that we need to apply the ESI model to achieve wealth, to grow wealth. We want to earn more, we want to save better, and we want to invest well. Now, having said that, where do I start from? Which of my questions should I ask you, Ibn Abo? Which of my questions?
You know, I'm very used to asking the questions, yeah? And so when people ask me questions, I'm like, God.
No, don't worry. You're good. You're very good. You know, there's a question that I asked you informally. I think it was 2 nights ago when, you know, we were, you know, getting set and looking at the logistics for this program. And I said, how do you do what you do? How do you do what you do? But you see, let me not just go into, before I go into specifics, let me just ask you again. How are you able to do everything you do and still be Ibn Abo? How are you able to do everything without losing yourself?
Wow. And, you know, when I was thinking about this program and the fact that you're going to ask me about me, I want to apologize from the jump. I want to say that I'm going to be saying things like, it's not me, it's God. And I don't want to sound cliche because it's fact. And I also want to say that to everyone who's listening, that life is in chapters. Life is in seasons. There was a time when I didn't know where I was coming. I didn't know where I was going. And there was a time when I felt lost in the translations of the roles that I played and the duties that I performed. because there was somebody inside of me that had dreams and goals and ambition. Okay. However, I went through a season in life that caused me to doubt myself, that caused me to feel disappointed, heavy disappointment. But I want to say that, and to everyone who's listening, that whatever it is you're going through, disappointment, anything that you feel that, oh, I'm not supposed to be going through this stuff, it's all part of your story. And this is the way I put it.
Part of your story.
Yeah. And that I would say that it is the compost, compost manure, the things that made you cry, the things that made you sad, the things that were difficult are the compost upon which your dreams emerge, your purpose emerges, and even the future that you really want. And even sometimes self-actualization comes in from. So my strength, or how I do what I do, is God, because sometimes I ask myself, how do you do this? How did you do this? It wasn't me. Like, I'm just telling you straight up. Because sometimes when I look up and I say, how did you do this, girl? I knew it wasn't me. And I want to say this very politely and very kindly, that I don't ascribe myself to be a strong woman. I don't think it is a compliment. But I just feel that God, through me, just carries the load that I'm supposed to be carrying. And of course, a good relationship, good family, good spouse, and good network of people, like-minded people. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And it's very important, because some people would nod their heads and say, and get carried away and say, I did it because I had the skills, or because I did that, and because I didn't do this. And I hear you, and whilst it's not, a church program, I thank you for putting your faith out there, because what you're saying is that you have a superpower, and that superpower is in your faith. Am I correct to say that?
Yes, and because
you're saying,
and because sometimes
not you,
and because sometimes when life throws you lemons, when life throws you lemons, and then you just begin to realize that you had to make lemonade from the lemons, and sometimes it wasn't by your strength. It was by the insight and the realization that you got. So it's not a faith program. I just want to get this straight up. But there's sometimes when, again, like I said, you have those lemons in life that you can always say, no, there has to be somebody or something greater than me. And that is where my reliance is. So that's why I'm apologizing from the jump.
It's okay. It's okay. Be yourself. We all have different stories, and one of the objectives of having these conversations is we want to learn from one another. We're speaking. People are going to pick points even from the questions that you choose to answer or not to answer, and sometimes, and then even from the ones that you answer. And by the way, she's an old girl of FGGC Abuloma, right?
Yes,
class 88. Good. You deserve your medals. And we're doing this program this evening in collaboration with the Old Girls Association of Federal Government Girls College, Boko, 1983 class of 83. And so there will be many Boko girls or Abuloma ladies around the call. I just thought to put that in. And,
hello, FGGC babes.
FGGC babes. Now, Ibn Abo, I know, and feel free to share or not to share as you wish. You don't want me to use the word strong or pro, but your setup has been that at the beginning, at some point in your relationship, you were in a different geographical location from your spouse.
Okay.
Will you be happy to talk about that?
Sure, I will. So,
okay. So I want to ask you one question. especially for, the young ones or people who are just beginning to navigate marriage around the corner. When you are in the same space with your spouse, sometimes, you step on each other's toes, right?
Yeah.
And the way they say the tongue and the teeth, especially if you love to chew gum, at some point they fight. You will see they will fight, but they will still be together. So, when you live in the same space, occasionally there are issues, right? But when you now live in different geographical locations, I want you to tell us how you have kept your relationship going and how you have handled, I think I will call it the emotional part.
Okay.
When you were living apart.
Perfect. So when I first met my husband, I met him in Lagos. I went to spend some holiday with my elder sister. So I met him in Lagos, and then I had to go back to school in Port Harcourt. So that was first a long distance relationship. And then he came to Port Harcourt for a year. And then he then now had to go back to Lagos to work because I was schooling at the time, and then he was working in Lagos at the time. So Valentine's Day, some Valentines. There was 2 Valentines, I think. He drove down from Lagos to Port Harcourt to come and see me. And then when I finished university, I then came to Lagos, did my youth service. And then that was how
That's an intentional man,
so 10 years after the marriage. So my head now turned, and I decided that I needed to pursue something that happened per chance. It wasn't that I really planned it. And so from 2000, so I left Nigeria. Of course, we're going back and forth traveling, but I left Nigeria, I had my baby. And then I decided to stay for a year, trying to sort out the opportunities that came from having the baby abroad. Then he was like, come home. And then I came. But in 2005, after 10 years of marriage, I decided to come and finish the work that I started. So from 2005 to Christmas 2022, we lived in 2 different continents. Having said that, in 2011 to 2014, 2011 to 2014, I came home. So it was like I came home, but I was always traveling back and forth. So in answering the question so I just get the background about how it was. So when you have disagreements, when you are living in 2 different continents, right? First and foremost, when you don't see face to face, when you see face to face, it's easier for you to iron things out, talk things over face to face, and then kiss and make up, right? But if you're in 2 different continents, it means that both of you're not together. And so sometimes you're not on the same wavelength. Sometimes your mood is affected by the weather. Sometimes the things that you're going through is too much for you to bear. And so sometimes you're just in a bad mood. And then, like my husband then was in Nigeria, enjoying the sunshine. And, sometimes
you'll be blaming him for the weather.
Yeah, I am so place, blah, blah, blah. And then me, I'm here facing the winter and the weather and all of that. It wasn't always funny. But one of the ways in which we sorted out disagreements was that we communicated. He understood where I was on things. And I think that, again, being able to survive that depends on the person that you get married to anyway. So there was always the open conversation. And again, you talk about disagreements. There are several types of disagreements. So there are the minor irritation disagreements where you said you were going to call me and you didn't call me. And then there are the trust disagreements that are based on trust, that perhaps maybe you did some things behind my back. And then there could be also disagreements on when are you going to come back? And because, when you live abroad and you're trying to pursue things, it is like you're trying to regularize or try to make sure that you have your things sorted out. There is no time frame of when this thing is going to end, so that could cause disagreements as well. But the most important thing I would say is communication. Lay it open and lay it bare, and you guys should understand It's okay to disagree. However, it's also important that you get to the source of the disagreement and then resolve the disagreement. And sometimes you may not always be on the same page, but sometimes you have to trust your spouse, or sometimes you have to follow the superior argument. So if my argument is more superior, even though he doesn't necessarily agree with me, then he comes with my argument. Or if his argument is more superior, then even though I don't agree, then I would listen to what he has to say. But the most important thing is trust and open communication and getting to the root cause of the disagreement and sorting it out.
Thank you for sharing that, Ibinabo. You know, I mentor a lot of young people, and I also have my own children that, you know, we have conversations when they want to. And I like to share as often as I can with not necessarily just young people, but even you and I, relationships is hard. Relationships is hard. Building a relationship is hard work. And there has to be an intentionality behind every step and action. So what I hear you saying is that even when you're living apart, you must put the fact that you want to resolve whatever issue comes up on the front burner. There must be an intention and some deliberate effort to make sure that you resolve issues.
Yes.
And what you're saying is that communication is very key to that.
Yes.
And so
especially because you're not seeing each other.
You're not seeing each other, yes. You're not seeing each other. And
Yes.
and one reason why it's important when you live apart and to be deliberate about this is because it can just stay there, right? When you live
and
in
it
the same
can fester into something else that you don't want to do.
exactly.
So you
when
can
you
say,
live,
okay, I'm not solving this, and then days would pass, and then your heart becomes
it just
hardened,
widens.
and then it just widens, and then
It just widens, yeah.
Yeah.
So you know, people around the call. I mean, some people are very, they're very careful. They don't want to go into long distance relationships because of obvious, I won't call difficulties, but things that need to be managed. I know a young lady who came and said the engagement was broken up because she couldn't have access to get to America, and he couldn't have. He was based there, and then she's stuck here. She's like, there's no point, right? There's no point because it can't build. But that's what she was saying. But it is possible if we focus on some of these things that you're talking about.
So yes, it is. So I understand the place where the girl who broke up our engagement from the guy who was living in America. So one of the ways that makes long distance relationship easy to manage is where you can have access, so you can have movement. So where one person can come and see the other person. If the other person can't come in the meantime, but one person has the access to come, and there has to be a lot of flexibility. So that when my husband and I started doing this long distance relationship business, like in 2005, they had no Zoom. Okay. So what we were using was Yahoo Messenger. We were using Yahoo Messenger. That was, so initially then it was phone cards. And
Did you use Skype?
Skype was Skype was before, sorry, Yahoo Messenger was before Skype. So It was a capital intensive venture because we don't have what we have today. So my husband, then his phone was a contract. Okay. So thousands of naira in communicating. And then I would always buy phone cards. And then when Yahoo Messenger came, then we could actually then see face to face. So all the time, internet burning. Why, the internet was constantly burning. And even on this side as well, 20 euro internet can finish in 1 week because then it just used to be the stick, the stick. So constant.
And there are other bills outside the phone bills anyway.
Yeah, so the communication was constant. It was intentional. our lives revolved around communication, around
Communication.
if I saw a cat pass, I'll call him, I saw a cat pass. If you know, constantly, like it was so much that when I go home, it's as though we were never apart.
Just settle in, yeah. You just
It was like as if we were never apart. So communication, constant honesty. Don't put yourself in the compromising situation. Who are your friends? The people that you are friends with also have to have the same like mind as you, that you respect marriage, you respect fidelity. Okay? There is no third party. You don't go anyhow. You don't go places anyhow. You don't do things anyhow, because you are committed to keeping yourself and to maintaining the sanctity of your marriage. And and sometimes it's not because you are a pastor or because you are a titled deacon or deaconess. It's about you fearing God,
absolutely.
respecting your family, respecting your children, and respecting yourself. So that's just what it is. Listen, a long distance relationship is not something for the faint hearted, because a lot of people have gone into this thing and everything has crashed. Even people who felt that they had a very solid relationship, once they got into this long distance relationship, everything crashed. So you need the support of each other, and then you need to also have families that support you and support the dream of what you intend to achieve.
That's nice. That's nice to hear. You use the word respect your family, respect yourself. I like that. Now, we will not just be talking about you and your husband, but in a relationship where, the couple don't live together, what are the boundaries that you think should be pulled around?
Straight up, no third party. No third party. So the boundaries are that you don't go anywhere anyhow. You don't have friends that take the place of your spouse. You do not have conversations about your spouse outside. If somebody tells you, oh, where is your wife or where is your husband is in Nigeria or your wife is in Nigeria, never allow them to sow a seed of discord by saying, he's not coming back or she's not coming back, or do you know what he's doing, or do you know what she's doing? It's a no-no. Third parties are not allowed. There must be trust. Your marriage is sacred and you must see your marriage as that. You don't go out anyhow. I've said it like there was somebody who was a friend of mine, and I was saying something to me one time, and I was going through something, and I was going to call my husband, and he said to me, with all good intention, because they were family friends, and said, do you have to tell your husband everything?
Accountability.
Yeah, you have to tell your husband everything. Like, you're going to stuff. We over here can handle it. I said, no, you can't. And it's none of your business. Never tell me what I can tell my husband or not. Are you my husband? So it's
setting the boundary. Setting the boundary.
But my husband and I will talk about everything. So you can't come. So I don't even have new best friends in that instance, and I surrounded myself with people that have the same respect for their marriages as I did.
Let's bring it down a little bit to the Gen Zs and the millennials. They would have their partners, and they would have, like, a female who have a best male friend. Have you had to cancel people in such scenarios? So they have their main partners, if you know what I mean. Let's say a young couple that just got married. So there's husband and wife, they're young people, and then they have best friends that are male of the opposite gender. What's your take?
So this is it for me, right? As you can imagine, I have a lot of friends that are guys. Okay, but the friend that I have as guys, they are my husband's friends that I met in church. Okay, but so sometimes when you have friends, why do you have the friends? Is it to learn? In short, I don't know. Best friend, male best friend. So I don't know, like, what are you telling him? You know, it's okay for you to have friends, but so this male best friend, like, do you call him at nights? Is he married? What are you people talking about? Because I don't understand. I'm just asking, like, you know,
It's just
but unless the person, okay, so maybe it depends. Were you in school together? At what point did you
I think
become best friends? Because you see, if you're in school together, so the person obviously grew up with you, but if it is a guy, he also becomes married and he also respects the boundaries and you also respect the boundary of his marriage. So I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that question, to be honest. Yes, I have guys that are my friends, obviously, but there's boundaries as well. There's mutual respect. I know their wives know
it's,
me, and there is a boundary. Like, I cannot call up a man at 11 o'clock in the night that I'm telling you is my best friend. There are some people, by virtue of, you know, church relationships and everything, that if you have a problem, you can talk to. Your husband knows that you can.
even that you're not gonna do that
But,
at 11 p.m.
but I don't know. I don't know about male best friend, though, because my mother used to ask me. My mother used to say, "Can a man and a woman be best friends together? Can a man and a woman be friends without?" I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Without the other one, without the third
But
leg.
there are some people that you grew up in school with, right? That are still your friends, okay? But again, there is a boundary in that.
Yeah, I think that's the word. That's just the word. Whoever you choose to make your best friend or your ordinary friend, the boundaries must be set. And you use the word respect. You must respect your partner absolutely, and you must have self-respect. I mean, you don't know how heavy that word is, but it is very heavy. Because if you have self-respect, you'll be accountable to your partner, and
Be careful. You have to be careful what you say to that.
what you say and what you share with third parties.
Sorry, and then we're living in the world today where we have internet. Sorry, this social media, these phones.
Social media, yeah.
Something, the person who is your best friend can be recording what you're saying. So whatever conversations you're having, if it comes out, would you?
Yeah.
Can you beat your chest and
will you be able to defend it?
Yeah.
Will you be able to defend it? Yeah.
I don't think it's absolutely wise to have a male.
Yeah, the word is boundaries.
Yeah.
Setting the right boundaries for people around the call, no matter your age. The word is, I mean, you might have been in a relationship or a marriage for over 30 years or even less than a year. The key word is having the boundaries. And there's another word, which is self-respect. Yes, respect your partner, self-respect. And because that's how you can grow trust. That's how you can grow trust, and that's how you can, by being accountable to one another. Time is going very quickly. It's unbelievable. A quick question to you. I know you have adult children, and you also have, there's an age band.
15 going on 30.
15 what?
15 going on 30.
Sorry, what did you say?
She's 15, but she's going on 30.
15 going on 30. I'm not sure where the sound is hanging. I don't know. It's probably my network here.
She's 15, but she's going on 30. So she's 15, but she has the mind.
What does that mean? You have children between the age of 15 and 30?
She has the mind of an adult.
Oh, is that your youngest?
Yes.
Is the youngest 15?
Yes.
Anyway, the question that I want to put to you, I have 3 beautiful children that I'm grateful to God for. But I know that sometimes I'm under so much pressure that I'm just like, why do I have to, be under this kind of pressure? So it was very easy for me when I was in full-time employment because I had a lot of domestic staff. I had a lot of support that if we were, having a parenting conversation, I would say, no, don't do that, because you have all that support and then you're kind of like detached from having that direct relationship you should have with your children. Now, but the question to you is, when you're under pressure as a woman building a home, building a career, have you ever felt any form of resentment that why are you the woman? Why do you have to juggle all this? And you're not being judged. We listen, we don't judge.
Yeah, I told you that there was a time. So I had the opportunity of walked around the house. So I had my own event management business when I was in Nigeria. I used to do children's party packs. And then after that, I graduated into doing promotional gift items. Okay. So, but then I had the opportunity then to walk around the house, to walk around the house. And so, and again, living in Nigeria, you had that support. You had family and you had people, relatives and people, and even people that you pay to help look after your children. So the pressure wasn't much then, even though at the time I was still trying to figure out who I was, because I got married when I was 24. I didn't have a job when I got married. So I was still trying to figure out. And there are some times when I felt that I needed to be more than what I was doing. Okay. So that was pressure for me, because I needed to be me. I needed to be, so I was a mother, I was a wife, I had healthy children, good supportive husband, but I needed to be me. Who is this Ibinabu? Where is that girl, that wanted to be so much for herself? So that was one. So that's why I said that sometimes I felt lost in the translation of the roles that I played and the duties that I had to perform. And fast forward, you come here, you relocate, and that's a different ballgame altogether. There is no help. You're knee deep in dust and polish. So then you would have to decide, what do I want to do? Do I want to be there for my children so that my children grow well? Or do I want to leave them in the hands of people to look after them, and then they would imbibe values that are things that you don't want? So sometimes I felt, oh my God, like, why am I the one that's always doing it? I felt the pressure, and sometimes I didn't handle the pressure well. But with maturity, and good support structure, good friends, my husband, my siblings, they made me realize that, and my husband always tells me that, Ivy, it's okay. It's okay, that things will work out for you in the end. This is the season. Do what you have to do now. And I think it was being prophetic in his saying, because eventually it passed. And I am now in this season of journalist, teacher, and podcaster. So what I'm going to say to you is that sometimes, like, so if I had to talk to myself, that 24, 25, 26-year-old girl, I would say, take it easy and be patient, because life is in chapters. Now the children are grown, okay? They're not there to well, I still have two at home, but they're not really there to bother you. And a time will come when you will miss them. So what I would say to my younger self, if I knew what I know now, is that it's that is the chapter. Enjoy the journey, because sometimes the way you react, the energy that you transmit sometimes affects the children. I remember one time when I just had this constant frown on my face because I was under a lot of this constant frown. And one day my children called me and said, Mom, I said, yes. Did we do anything wrong? I said, you didn't do anything. Are you happy? I said, yes, I am. But Mommy, how come you always have a constant frown on your face? My children, I'm not frowning, I'm only thinking. So, yes, but I would say to you, life is in phases. It will pass. But the only thing is, keep going. Sometimes a phase in your life will require that you give your children 100%. Give to them. So maybe you're doing your business and you can't do the business 1,000%. give it whatever percentage you can give it. The most important thing is do what you want to do for yourself. So as your family is growing, also do what you want to do for yourself. And sometimes the family could have 80 and you could have 20. A time will come when you would have 100 and the family would have 0. You know, but the life of a mother is constant giving. You never get tired because you it's constant. Like I was saying to my sisters, my big sisters, how do you manage? They say it's only when you close your eyes that you stop being a mother. So
absolutely, it's a job for a lifetime.
it's a lifetime, yeah.
Yeah. Quickly, just want to go to talk about money.
Wow.
You know, I love talking about money.
I know, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me, what do you want to know?
There's so many questions, but don't have so much more time. But I think I want to ask you what you understand by financial freedom.
Or financial freedom is to be able to have money and do with your money whatever you want to do with it. Have money and do with it whatever you want to do.
Have money in the different phases and seasons of life without being dependent on anyone.
Well, sometimes, right? If you have a good spouse that pays you for being at home, the money is your money still, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So financial freedom, sometimes it comes when, even if it's a single income family at a particular, because mine was a single income family for a while.
Yeah.
But the person who had the money brought it so that,
it could be available for both parties.
I didn't have any issue with it. And then when it was time for me to be able to build my own financial freedom, it was okay. It was okay. But it's being able to have the resource to do whatever you want to do with your money and feeling good about it.
And it's very important. There's someone that I talk to that always says that for women, it's very important to have vex money. Do you know what that means?
Now we coined vex money now, but vex money can let you down, because let me tell you how vex money came about. So you're going for a party, or you're going out with some boys, and then they upset you, and then you have vex money. Sometimes the place where they go, transport no go fit carry you reach there. So even sometimes the vex money can be useless. But it's good to have money.
It's good to have a fallback.
It's good to have a fallback, to have something that is yours. For example,
I think, yeah.
For example,
please go on.
Family is making contributions. You girls and you want to travel. Your children need money. It's not every time that you would ask Oga to give you money. You know what I mean? You need to have flex. I mean, you want to buy something, you buy it. It's good to have it.
Yeah, if there's anything that's I'm very grateful to God for the Finance Coach BK platform. It's that people who don't know begin to understand the purpose and the ways of financial fitness and financial freedom. And when I have the opportunity to speak with women, I let them know that without losing the respect they have for their spouses or without putting on any ego, the importance of a woman having some form of financial independence of their spouses. But you did say one thing. You said when for you it was a one income family.
Yeah.
You shared. You also used the word that for someone who is not even in employment or running a business, who gets some form of allocation on allowances on a regular basis, that's their money in their hand to do it.
Of course.
To do it, and they can build on that. They can build on that and grow it.
Yes.
So if there's a woman, if there's a young woman, or no matter the age of the woman around the call, today is Valentine's, a special family session, right? If there's a woman around the call who perhaps has been in that space where it's been a single income thing and she gets some form of allowances, to run the home and even for her time for being at home, the thing I will put on the front burner is to let them know that they can also build financial independence and they can grow wealth, even from the allowances that are put in their hands.
Yes, and I also want to say that we live, so even when it was a single income family in quote, I still was doing my own thing. I was making pineapple juice. I was traveling to Dubai. I was selling clothes. So what I didn't have at the time was the structure.
A paid employment.
Yeah, but I was still doing stuff. I was still rendering service to people. From the day I got into that house, I didn't just sit down to do nothing, right? I had something I was doing, although, Oga's money was the umbrella, but then I was still doing something. I was still using my hands to do something. But again, we're living in a world today where there is no excuse.
There's no excuse.
There's no excuse,
No.
And you can sit down in your house, go on internet. You don't have to, in those days, I used to travel, when I had my shop and stuff like that, I would go for trade fairs. There used to be a trade fair in Birmingham twice every year I used to attend. Then you didn't even have internet. They would give you a booklet. So you would meet all the suppliers of children's toys and everything. But now you have the internet. If you go on Facebook, if you Google, you would see China trade, blah, 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 blah. You have access to information that you didn't have before. So there is no excuse. You can now, what can you do with your hands? I know women who were professional lawyers, engineers that started to bake, that made money baking cakes. So you see, you don't have an excuse. Even there's lots of digital, so like affiliate marketing, for example, I tried it, but I did not focus on it very well. But I think after some time, I will go back and learn that thing very well. There are things that you can do with the digital space. So there is no excuse. There's no excuse.
There's no excuse. We're aligned on that. There's no excuse. Sorry?
Even some with content creation, you can monetize. You can monetize your knowledge. You can monetize your skill. If you don't know, look for people that will teach you how to do it. There is no excuse. I hear there's some, of course, there are some websites that you can go, that you can earn money online, whatever it is, do your due diligence. I see it all the time, but I haven't looked into it yet. But you can make money answering questions and surveys. There is
surveys. Yeah.
Too open for us to say to be without something that we're doing.
Yes, we have loads of conversations we've had in the past talking about multiple streams of income and side hustles on our YouTube channel. And so anybody that this comment you've just made, we have drilled down on it, and we have
you're going to come on my program. We're going to talk about some things. You owe me. We were supposed to do one last year, but you're coming on EB Speaks this year.
I'm gonna come happily. I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. And now that you mentioned your program, thank you for reminding me, because we have very little time left, but I want to talk about this because I know that there are many women around the call. We did advertise this program to the alumni of the Federal Government Girls Colleges and to some women platforms. I put it on the Society of Women Accountants of Nigeria's platform as well. So there are many women around the call. And some different seasons of their lives, maybe like me, looking forward to being a grandma. Some are still nursing their young children, and some are already grandmas. You had myself and a lawyer come speak on your program once, and I think it was when we call it Hakimi Gate just happened. So I have one question, and I know you're a woman of faith, and I'm a Christian as well. And so we're going to look at this question. We're not going to put down our Christian lenses, but as Christians, marriage is for a lifetime, right? Yes. We're not. Divorce is not encouraged. You marry, and marriage is for life. Now, life happens, okay? And increasingly, and it's not only amongst the Hollywood stars, it's increasingly in homes where the partner, the couple, the husband and the wife are coming from very wealthy backgrounds. Even in Nigeria, I see an increase in the request for prenuptial agreements. Yeah? I was listening to, and I'm not going to call his name because I have my sister who has always given me feedback and says, sis, be careful how you call names on your programs. But this is on YouTube. The young man that said it on YouTube, and the billionaire's son. And he said, look, I mean, if I'm going to marry, there's going to be a prenup because I want to be sure that the ladies marry me for the love, comes from a very wealthy background. The father is a billionaire. The question is, and you're not being judged, I just want to ask you, what are your thoughts around this?
Wow.
You know what Hakimi did, and we're not talking about what you would do or what you would recommend. I'm just, what do you think in life? So someone is on one side building his parents or her parents have worked so hard, they've built up wealth, right? And then they come together. If it's difficult because you're a Christian for you to answer, it's fine. We can go to another question.
So what's the question? Then is it okay for you?
The question is, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about prenups?
Well, I think that we're living in a world today where
let me moderate it. Ibinabo, let me moderate it. Let me take that back a bit and just say, can you share some of the lessons that we picked from that Hakimi Gate conversation?
Again,
and if you still want to talk about prenup, please go ahead.
Okay, so again, I just feel that everything boils down to who you're marrying, the person you're getting married. The foundation is very, very important. Very wealthy families in the past, when people want to get married, the families censor who you're marrying. They would go. Number one, wealthy people love to keep the money in the family, all right, because it's emergence of wealth. Secondly, in the past, a custom, if you wanted to get married, you don't just bring somebody that you want to get married to. Your family would go, they would check the background and check everything about the person. And if your parents refuse that you marry that person, you don't get married to that person, because they would say in so families, they have certain tendencies. Women don't stay in the family, blah, 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 blah. They have tendency to be greedy and stuff like that. So I just feel that, unfortunately, we're living in a society today where people get married to get advantage, especially like in America, for example. A woman would have a guy and then divorce the guy and then begin to claim the guy has to
the person's sweat.
Yeah, begin to claim. So it's just unfortunate that those kinds of things happen. But I believe that if you marry the right person, then these kinds of things will not occur. And in picking who you marry, I feel that family has to be involved in moderating the person that you get married to. Because sometimes, okay, so how did Akim's mother decide to, why did he decide to put his wealth?
To put all the assets.
Because his mother, the mother must have seen him and seen this girl and said, I don't, okay, they will say, I don't like this guy. I don't like the way this girl's eye is doing. So sometimes I just feel that it's unfortunate that we're living in a world today where marriage is seen as an opportunity to
rip the other person off. Let me just put, because some people may not understand. So you and I understand because we remember it, right?
Yeah, so like Hakimi that dated a model.
Okay.
Divorced him and wanted his money. Even Akon did this as well. Akon put his money in his mother's name, and when his wife divorced him, the court found out that he had only $10,000 to his name. Every other thing he had.
Because everything was in the mother's name.
Yes.
And I do remember because you had this learned gentleman that was on that program as well. Yes. And he warned women. I think one of the things he also said was that women in Nigeria, we're talking in Nigeria, should be, and everywhere actually, should be careful when they build wealth with their spouses to make sure that their names are not assumed on the properties. You remember we had that conversation where he was saying
that had something with a guy, a popular musician, and when the divorce happened, she had to prove that she had input in everything that he did. So for example, if your husband is building a house and you people have a romantic conversation and say, love, can you give me that money in that your account? Can you bring it so we can use it to build a house? Give him in traceable forms. Give him a check. do an online transfer so that the money can be traced into the account, so that when, God forbid, if Kasala bust, they can trace your input into the project.
Yes, he said that as well. And it's also important that the asset bears your name.
Yeah.
And not Mr. and Mrs.
Yeah.
Komolafe. It will be Mr. James.
John and Mrs. Victoria.
Yes. So your full names. We have, I think that conversation is on Ibn Abo's YouTube page.
Yes, it was a relationship series.
Yeah.
Love and relationship
and so,
series. Yeah.
The good thing about why I would recommend that conversation to people around the call is that the learned gentleman offers, I think, charitable services. He supports people. I think he has a foundation where he can help people put their legal.
I think he does pro bono work.
Pro bono, thank you for that. You know, that's why you do Obodo Yibo now, you know. Pro bono, thank you very much. We're running out of time, but I still have many more questions. I need to get better at handling my time with this program. If you were to give one advice to, and I know you say you're not a strong woman, okay? But the topic of today has to do with strong homes, strong careers, successful careers, and growing wealth. What advice would you give to a young lady, a young man about to get married? What would be one piece of advice?
Oh my God. So
to have a stable home.
I did a program, a series for 1 year on that. It's on my YouTube channel, Ibinabo Enebi. Know who you're getting married to. You cannot rush. Know who you're getting married to. Ask the right questions. Ask the right questions, number one. So I think I had this topic on Refresh to Relaunch. And this, I'm going to give you the 4 things that they said that we talked about. Know who you marry, who you're getting married to. Ask the right questions. Watch out for red flags. How compatible is your spiritual DNA? Watch out for the spiritual DNA of the person you're getting married to. What are the ancestral yokes and patterns in that marriage? Because sometimes when you're getting married, you don't just get married to somebody, you're getting married to strongholds and patterns. And the last one we talked about was emotional baggage in the past that could come and bite you in your relationship. But the most important thing I would say, I think all 4 of them are important, but the most important thing is, who are you getting married to? Because I'm going to say this, that the person you marry is the most strategic person you would ever meet in your life. Because the person you marry may be the one who would be the wind beneath your wing, or would be the one person who will destroy your life. So everything about your life, aside from your, growing up in a family, is dependent on the person that you marry. Your peace of mind, your mental health, your wealth, your well-being, your prosperity, and your wealth is dependent on the one person that you marry. So don't get carried away by emotions. Ask the right questions. Court properly. Don't let sex blind you. Ask the right questions. Ask the right questions and court properly. That's what I would say.
The young ones will say, clock it, I mean, whatever they say. But loud it. That's what I want to say.
Loud it.
Loud it.
Listen to your. Yeah. Okay.
Go on. No, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Sometimes it could be negative or positive, but sometimes listen to your parents' input on the person you want to get married to. Sometimes step back. If you think your parents are biased, if you have a trusted aunt, ask that aunt, what do you think about this person? So sometimes, don't get carried away with emotions. Sometimes your parents may say they don't like you to marry that person because of biases. But the most important thing would be ask. Don't use just your own lens.
Don't get carried away.
Yes, ask the questions and be intentional. Because marriage, somebody says that before you get married, your eyes, your love is blind. But when you get in, then your eyes will be open. It's not married. I've been married for 30 years. And before I married my husband, when I told my dad about my husband, I want to get married. My father said, that was about 22, 23. Then my father said, you want to get married. So I need to see him first. And so my dad and I had a pinky promise. My dad said, let him come. If I like him, if I approve, you will. If I don't approve, you won't. And I said, okay, Daddy. And my dad said, okay, I've seen him. And whatever my dad put, his perceptions, my father's perceptions about him were right. And my father felt he was the right person for me. And then he entrusted me into his hands and into the hands of his family. And it's been a good decision.
Congratulations, my dear sister. Don't be small matter. Don't be small matter, because you were in love. And what if daddy has said no?
I trusted my father's judgment.
So the love would have vanished. You were in love with Binabu.
I was in love, but I trusted my father's judgment.
And you're still in love.
I'm still in love, but I trusted my father's judgment. Otherwise, I would have convinced him.
You know, it's for people like us who, get it easy. When I say easy, you have the support of your family and you have the support, to go ahead, right? So it's not complicated. But sometimes some people, it's not that easy for them. But that's a conversation for another day. Yeah. That's a conversation for another day, because it's very, it's deep.
Yeah.
I think I want us to wrap up with one question on money. And I want to talk about money, because today is Valentine's Day. This is how you and I are. You are my Valentine today, Avi.
I say, I'm wearing red.
Oh, okay. You didn't tell me. Valentine. So money between men, between a man and a woman, right? When I used to take the relationship premarital classes in my church, and I used to emphasize, to the intending couple, that they need to understand the money habits of themselves, and they need to talk about money. Because, to be honest, when I see women, well, let me not generalize it. If I have grown wealth in any way, it's because I have the support of a husband who thinks about money the way I think about money. And so it's easier for us to invest and decide, take money decisions and all of that. Now let's talk about talking about money. Do you deliberately have money conversations with your husband? Others?
Yeah, so when I first met my husband, he was working in the bank. And he
was a banker.
Yes, so there was no conversation about money. But this is what we used to do. Every year, when we got married, he had goals, right? And then he would sit down with me, and then we would write our goals. He would write it, and then he would explain what it means. And then I would say, okay, and then we would sign. But he had my best interest. He had my best interest.
That's very important, Ibinabo. Setting financial goals together. That's what you're talking about.
He had my best interest. And then we had joint interests. We didn't have joint accounts, but we had joint interests. We saw money as a means to, mind you, we gave our lives to Christ. We just depended on Jesus. I don't know. I'm just saying this. So we trusted God. And then we had the same vision, because he's the one who had the experience with money, right? So whatever he told me, I did. And then we used to read the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We had seminars on it. Then he would tell me the importance of this, that. And then I also remember that my dad used to do certain things as well. So I say, yeah, this is correct. This is true. And then I would listen. But when it came to money and finances, we were on the same page. And I think that I encouraged him. That when I got my, and then I also encouraged him a lot. I wasn't into unnecessary spending or anything like that. I encouraged him.
So what would you say to people around the call, even intending couples that are not having money conversations? What will you say to them?
I think that it's important that you have the money conversation now, because when I got married 30 years ago, I think, and today it's not the same thing. I think it's important to have the money conversation. What is your money habit like? What do you think about money? Do you believe in saving? Do you believe that, how do you think money should be spent? Because it's very, very important, because one of the things that causes problem in a relationship is your attitude towards money. You may think that you are in love and that love would conquer everything and love will do everything, but money can be one of the things that can break or make a marriage. Mind you, who you marry can also affect your wealth.
Your capacity
Because
to grow
sometimes
wealth.
you could have somebody who doesn't have money saving acumen, money planning acumen, and then you would be the one that would carry the responsibility of trying to grow money. And whereas the other person, all they do is to make wrong judgments, wrong investment decisions. And in that kind of situation, the romance would actually fly out of the window. So I feel that if both of you don't have the same views about money, I think you have to step back.
Step back,
I think
right?
you have to step back, because you need money. If you live in a chronic financial hardship situation, you're going to look old, won't you? If as a woman, if you have to carry all the responsibilities, you're going to look old. Money is important. You don't want to be the one to carry everything, because then you can't build. There are incidences of women who, when they were single, were doing very well. They had businesses, they were thriving, they were traveling all over the world. And then they married somebody who didn't have the same financial vision as they did. And either some of them, their businesses crumbled.
And everything went down south.
So what are we saying?
Yeah. Do you deliberately discuss money with your children?
Wow. So they're working now, and we encourage them to start having investments and start saving money and start putting money aside for things. The money because they left home early, they left secondary school, blah, 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 blah. But I think that they have the habit of saving money. But what we're trying to do with them now is to grow the little that they have and start having plans, insurance, because sometimes we feel that having an insurance is the foundation of wealth creation. Because if you have a good insurance and if anything happens to you, there's money that covers that. Have insurance, plan for your retirement, and then money is fluid. Money doesn't like to stay in one place. So if you can begin to put the money in things, because for example, you could have 20,000 naira in court in your account, and if you have an opportunity to buy a piece of land for 2,000 naira, you could buy like 5 pieces for 2,000 each, and then that money will grow over time. So it's always good to because money loves to flow. If you put it in one place, it becomes static, it becomes stagnant. But if you put it in things that would help it to grow, then it will grow. So we're encouraging our children to make use of their money well, and we hope that they listen.
No, you doing the right thing by speaking with them and discussing it with them, because it's, you talked about your I think it's your husband that you said at the early stage of your marriage you were reading Rich Dad Poor Dad together.
Yes.
Or
yes,
is it
yes.
so you both,
and he would come with a worksheet and he would tell me this and the money flow quadrant and all those things, and I was listening. Okay, because I didn't have that at home,
Yeah.
I
So
got
that's
married early, and
Yeah, so Dalip, it's important to not only teach them and advise them and guide them, but it's important that we point people towards financial education.
Yeah.
One of the questions that I have for you is that how can women be encouraged to get financial literacy? How can women be,
Oh my
encouraged to?
goodness me. So we have, again, we're living in an era or an era where you can't say you don't know.
No
For
excuse, like you
example,
said.
there's no excuse. We have programs like yours. And even in those days, in those days in the villages, women used to have what we call a job. You know, a job now.
Mhm.
They used to have bango, they call it bango. And women will come together and put monies together. And then at the end of when it's your time, you take the money, you use it to do whatever you want to do. But we're living in the world today. You have ChatGPT, you can ask it whatever you want. So there is no excuse. We're living in a world today where there is an explosion of knowledge. And it's important, especially like if you're in an alumni association like federal government colleges, for example, every time
Mhm.
you're dated with programs that they're talking this and talking that. So there's no excuse. There's really no excuse.
Mhm.
Make use of the information that is available to you. It's all over the place.
Thank you so much, Ibina. But there are so many questions, but there's one of them that I think we tried to answer earlier on. It says, how can women protect themselves financially in marriage and partnerships?
Wow. Mm. Again, it boils down to who you marry.
Mhm.
Who you marry. Who you marry is very important because sometimes women can marry a mean man who would bully them, abuse them, tear them down. So even if so sometimes she's working very hard and providing for the family, but that's not enough for him. For some men, the fact that she's even able to provide for the family, you would think that that will make him happy, but no. It could also come with, you know, abuse, domestic violence, verbal, emotional, psychological, and all those kinds of things. But one of the ways in which she can protect herself, and sometimes I'm not spoiling anybody. I don't want to spoil anybody, eh? But sometimes you don't have to
Mhm.
tell him everything that you have. You
You
don't
don't
have to
have to do
show.
what?
You don't have to tell him everything that you have.
Your husband is watching, you're on your
No,
own.
no, no. I said not my husband. I'm saying that there's some people that I said
It's, you know what,
the
Ibina,
person
but
that you marry
you,
is important.
yes,
And
yes.
so if you marry a man that supports you, he knows you throw your things around,
Mhm.
everything.
You
But if
can
a
be
man,
open.
because I was saying that there are some women that even when they are the ones that are providing everything, you think that by providing, bringing everything to his feet, he will still love you. It's a lie, because men don't take it well. So you see
Yeah.
that he's still calling you harlot, he's still calling you prostitute, he's still giving you a dirty slap. Why? Because you are able to support him. Men don't like it. So in that instance, what do? You have to protect yourself.
I was just teasing. Yes,
It doesn't
I
have
was
to
just
know.
teasing you. Your message is very clear. Your message is very clear. Who you marry, and remember, who you marry determines the steps that you take.
So if
Um,
yeah, so maybe you will behave like Akim and Akon.
and just to every, thankfully, you have sons and daughters. So, yeah, but we have to be smart. Um, there's so many questions. Somebody says, how can women prioritize mental health while pursuing their careers and
Oh,
growing well and growing a
oh,
family? How do you prioritize your mental health?
it's not. This is not. It depends on where you are. It depends on. There are some seasons, like if you're living abroad, you cannot do everything on your own. Again, the person you marry is important, but one thing is this: you can decide to work part-time. Like if you're living abroad, for example, you can have the opportunity to say, I can't do the 9 to 5, I will do part-time. Know the limitations of your strength. Life is in seasons. Life is in seasons. You can't be a superwoman. There was a time in my life when my house must be 1000% clean. I will mop the walls, I will mop the floor, I will mop the ceiling. When you finish like this, this part like this, like this, like this, it's not me that. So there's some times when you have to know that, especially when you're living alone. I'm not supporting that you have an untidy house, but sometimes you have to let go. And there's some battles. Sometimes it's not every battle that you fight.
Mm.
Okay? It's not every battle that you fight. Sometimes it will require that you walk in some seasons of your life. So you can't, especially when the children are young. Sometimes it requires that you run. Sometimes it requires that you fly. So there are seasons where you can run. There are seasons where you can fly. There's seasons when you can go on a jumbo jet.
Mm.
But in all that you do, don't stay static. If you can do, maybe you can do a certification, 1 week certification, 2 week certification, go ahead, do it. If you can do a 1 year, but whatever it is, life is in seasons. You're not pursuing anybody, nobody's pursuing you. Your mental health is important. And one of the ways in which I maintain my mental health is, I don't know, after prayer, I say, I cannot kill myself.
Myself.
I cannot kill see, once the thing wants to reach me like this, I say I cannot kill myself. And guess what I do sometimes? And this is what I learned from the village, my dad. Sometimes when it's very hard, you put your hand on your head like this. It will pass. You put it like this. This too shall pass.
It shall pass. Yeah.
It shall pass. But know your strength. There is no such word as a superwoman.
Mm.
You're not a superwoman. Please, you see that Proverbs 39 woman. You see that is
There's no such word as a superwoman. There's
within
something
the realms of your strength, and you cannot cramp in everything in one season of your life. You have to spread it.
That's why there are seasons. Yeah.
A time will come when you'll be able to do whatever you want to do. But there are some times when you have to step back. You can't solve. Look, sometimes when it is getting very hard for me, you know that the Maya song, this like I can't kill myself. This life, I can't kill myself.
You loved it.
The flex, so I can't die. Because if you die, they will bury you. And your children will move on.
They'll move on. I once had an occasion to speak somewhere. It was, I think, a Mother's Day service, and I talked about loving your family and your children responsibly. And I talked about when you stretch yourself to the point where you die, it is called irresponsible loving. You don't love them when you don't take care of yourself, because in the end they lose you, and then you put them in sorrow. And so it's very important that as women that we balance things and that we focus not only on mental health, physical health, and like you said earlier on, spiritual health.
And there's also this, that sometimes when you try to do everything, you become repulsive to your children. I'll tell you why. Because you want to do everything, your antenna is very high, your fuse is very short. You're doing you become like a wild, because you're always upset. So they don't enjoy you. You don't enjoy the present situation. You're not enjoying yourself. So you can't do everything at the same time. And listen, this life is not a competition.
At all.
Choose your battles.
Absolutely. Wow.
Know this and know peace.
Yes, it's been very interesting, but I would, my friends and I used to tease and say in church, the pastors will say finally, and then they will say finally like 10 times. They say finally. I used to laugh at such pastors. I hope I'm not becoming that this evening, but
I hope we're having some actions, because I can see that we're having some good poses here.
Yes, so
I hope you're doing.
We'll capture them later. Don't worry, we know how to do that. But your husband's forever Valentine, and there's no competition. So which one? And by the way, please thank him for allowing you to do this on a day when you should be chilling together.
Listen, chicken is grilled.
Oh, so
That is,
so you're ready to have a
but
blast.
then it supports me in this.
That's nice. Please thank him for us. Thank him for me especially. But the last question, I was speaking to, and I hope she's still on the call, but one friend of mine, I was speaking to her son earlier on, and he's in Canada, and I'd sent someone to him to, mentor and guide, about certain things. And we got talking, and this young man was saying to me that when he first started, he had to do a lot of jobs, right? And he said, you know what, Auntie, at a point I was doing 4 jobs, and I was so proud of him, so proud of him. When I get off this call, I'm going to tell the mom. I've told her before, I said, you got a prince in that guy because he thinks forward. He's very forward thinking. Now, the reason why I'm using that as an example to the next question is multiplicity of income sources. Increasingly, people back home are beginning to embrace that. And with platforms like mine, we're teaching people that, look, don't get stuck on just one source of income. For people abroad, I know that, that's embraced more by people abroad than those of us at home. I wanted to speak to the ladies, the men, everybody around the call about, earning from more than one source of income. And depends on, I don't know what your agreement is with your employer. It may be something you're not doing, but I'm sure that you have people around you that you're mentoring or that you see or people that have come on your platform, on your podcast, that have spoken about multiple streams of income.
Yes,
so how can we build?
This is it, and this is the reality about living abroad, right? The system takes from you. It takes from you. So that young man is working 4 jobs.
When he started this program, right now he's doing maybe 2. But when he went to school, when he first started, yeah.
So one of the things that you can do is first have an insurance to protect you. Second, plan for your retirement. Put funds away. There's so many companies that do investments. Call them, and right from the source, they can take money from the source from your account. You can have, if you have a private pension, do a private pension. You can also do a work pension as well. So those are some of the ways that off the bat, whatever monies that you have, before the people in Nigeria will call you and finish the money, your insurance.
Are you talking about us? Are you talking about me?
I'm not talking about your love. I know that you don't call people, but I'm just saying, generally speaking, especially with the way the economy is. Because you see, the Refresh we launched last year, we talked about multiple streams of income. And the lady who came, Clara, she's an Abloma girl. I'm going to send her link to you, especially for those who live in the UK. She said that the foundation of wealth creation before even multiple streams of income is to have an insurance. Because God forbid, if you can't work, then that insurance that you have, maybe income protection or whatever, is what protects you. Maybe you have a life insurance. If one party, God forbid, closes their eyes, then at least there is a financial leverage for the other person. So one of the first things you have to do is insurance. The second thing you have to do is protect your future, have funds available. And some companies, when you put money into them, they would invest your money. They would ask you, are you a low risk or high risk, depending on your age? They could invest in cash, they could invest in shares, they could invest in what's it called, gold and whatever. So have something that can build your money for you progressively on the long run, and of course to plan for your retirement as well. And another source of, so in that way, some of those people that plan for retirement also would involve stocks and different types of assets and commodities as well. So that's there. Again, multiple sources of income. We live in an era now where digital products are selling, um, affiliate marketing and stuff like that. So look into it. But I know that sometimes when you live abroad, depending on the kind of work that you do, if you, for example, if you're a carer or someone as a nurse or anything like that, when you go do your shifts and you come back, there's nothing left in your brain.
Stamina, you're all drained.
You're all drained. Unless you're working for yourself, then you could have the opportunity then to plan. Sometimes if you do some jobs, you're well paid, which is fair. So in that way, you can invest, use financial advisors to advise you on ways to make the money that you have to grow. That's what I can say.
Thank you so much, Ibinabo. I'm so glad and grateful that you joined the conversation this evening. There are so many, nuggets that people can take away, lessons to take away. One of the things we say to ourselves in this community is that the goal is financial freedom for men, for women, for young people, for oldies. Financial freedom as early as you can achieve it. Some people don't start early. Whenever absolutely, that's what I was just going to say. It doesn't matter when you start. Just work at it. And so we're grateful that we're having a conversation around this, because when you have a stable home, you've talked about communication, you've talked about setting us to the wrong ends and all of that. If you have a stable home, then you can make better money decisions.
Yes.
And you can enjoy your wealth better if you have a stable home. If you have a thriving career, then you're able to earn more active income that you can use to build investments that can get you passive income that will ultimately give you financial freedom. And financially responsible parents will definitely bring up financially responsible children. You've talked about character. Know who you want to get married to is very important. And I can say for sure, because I counsel people, premarital counseling classes, and I've seen people get married, I've seen experiences, and I do know that the person that you get married to is a key determinant of whether you would be a rich or a poor person.
Yeah.
So conversation for another day, how the money is blown, how it is not being blown. And so the conversation this evening, thankfully, it's, Valentine and all of that, but we have taken a lot away from you sharing with us. And one thing is, if you have, for people around the call who may not be married, and looking forward to getting married and a bit apprehensive because the partners are in different geographical locations, we know that beautiful homes can come from long distance relationships.
Yeah, but then you have to know when to come together. Because for me, my situation was different. Sometimes when you stay apart for too long, then you become territorial. That is, you become too strong. You're not malleable anymore, because all of you and your spouse,
you become different trees. Trees, as in TREES.
Exactly. So you have to know when. You have to put a time frame to it if possible. You have to be committed to the sanctity of the marriage, and you have to be kind and nice to one another. But it's important, especially for the children, that as much as possible that you come back, because sometimes the husband and the wife can be very well into each other, but the man or the woman is missing out on milestone developmental stages of their children. You're not
the children's life, yeah.
So you're not there when they were in secondary school, their graduation, blah blah blah. So even when you're working and sending money to them, all you're doing is sending money. They don't know you. So it's important that you try as much as possible to come back and stay together. Sorry for cutting you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I want to get as much as as much as I can get from you. You know, thank you so much, Ibinabo. I'm just trying to. I don't know why I've lost it, but I got. I saw the names of the people that joined us earlier on. I think. So we want to thank the Federal Government Girls College class of 1983, the alumni group. We want to thank them for partnering with us to bring this to our friends this evening. I had some of them online. I think I saw Habibat. Thank you so much, Habibat, for joining us from Akure. But I've lost the names now on Facebook. I want to thank friends of Ibinabo that joined the call. I think I saw one of your sisters says that's my younger sister, but I can't find the name anymore. So thank you so much, Ma, for joining us. Thank you very much. And to every other person around the call on YouTube and on Facebook, thank you so much. Now, Ibinabo, before I let you go, please tell us again how we can follow you on.
Okay, so you can very good. So you can follow me on my social media handles, Ibinabo Enebi, LinkedIn Ibinabo Enebi, Instagram Ibinabo Enebi, Facebook, and Ibinabo Enebi YouTube. So that when I'm right now, I'm on break from EB Speaks, but once I begin, I will be sending my flyers
notification.
So you know when I'm having my program. And please, so please follow me.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We are so grateful. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our February Valentine conversation for the Finance Coach BK monthly Money Talk series. Next month, we're going to be talking about real estate. How do you make money from real estate and the mistakes to avoid, whether you're building the money from real estate in Nigeria or outside Nigeria. I'm going to bring an expert about real estate to come talk to us. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Pastor Tolu, for joining us from Akure. Thank you, Dr. Charity. She joined us from America. You know, when we started, I said we would have people from Canada, we would have people from the UK. And we did have someone from America. Thank you, Dr. Charity, for joining us. George Famobiwo, thank you so much for joining us. I can see Dikinazawe, that's one of my aunties. Thank you so much, Auntie, for joining. I can see Olushola Ebenezer Alale. Thank you so much, everybody. I can't call everybody's name, but I appreciate every one of you, Ifoma Vivian, everyone that is seeking financial education and trying to do things better. I appreciate you joining us. Olamipo Raji, thank you so much. These are friends on Facebook. I'm not yet on YouTube to acknowledge people. Thank you, everybody. Do have a good evening. Thank you so much, Ibinabo. You know I love you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Say hello to those giants in your house. Thank you so much. It's been a very beautiful evening. And to my team at the back end, thank you so much. Thank you, Timilai. Thank you, Dorcas. Thank you, Tammy. Tammy joined from Canada, managing one of our pages. Thank you so much. Madam Funke, thank you so much. Dr. T. Thank you. Timilai, you can stop now.